What's up? What's happening? Welcome to another edition of the Minor League Take. I'm your host, Brad Case. This week we got on my roommate, Justin Hagenman. Me and Justin played together in 2017 for the Wareham Gateman. I was only there for a short time. He had a full contract, but decided to leave early. We really didn't know each other too well until we moved down here, but we've gotten to know each other very well. He's a great guy. You're all going to love him. He's with the LA Dodgers, drafted in the 23rd round in the 2018 draft. He attended Penn State, and I think you guys are going to enjoy his story because he's a guy that is very level-headed and has just been on cruise, and he's been crushing it so far in the minors. So I'm excited for you guys to hear that. As always, it is brought to you by More Than Baseball. More Than Baseball helps guys like me and Justin achieve our dreams by making it to the big leagues, and they help us out with some equipment and other finances. So they're fantastic. If you haven't followed them yet, go check them out. MTB_org on all their social medias. Go give them a follow. Very excited to see that the minor league season's been finally announced. We're going to start on May 4th, and we're going to run all the way through to the middle of September. I cannot wait to get going. 6 games against one team in one city, and then hitting on the road, having an off day every Monday is definitely going to be an interesting schedule. I'm really excited. If we have a 6-man rotation with my team, I'm going to be very happy because I'm going to have a very constant routine, and I'm looking forward to that. And I get a full chance, to do all my scouting, which I personally love. And I'm just so pumped I get to finally play a baseball game again, man. It's been a long time. So hopefully, that gets going soon enough. We get rolling, and, we're just going to take over the world. Hope you guys enjoy the interview. Let me know what you guys think. All right. What's up? Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I'm here with my roommate, my good friend, Justin Hagenman. Justin, how you doing today?
I'm good. Good to be doing this. It's I've seen a couple that you've done so far, so
yeah. Now you're on the show. Yeah, officially part of the Minor League Take family.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So let's just jump right into it. Once we get going, it's gonna be it'll just flow. What did high school baseball look like for you?
High school was a lot of fun. I went to similar to you. I went to a prep school in New Jersey, Bishop Eustis. We were pretty good. We're known to be a baseball school, so we had a lot of talent running through there. A lot of kids that I grew up with went there as well, and we grew up together, so I was pretty close with them.
You've been talking about it. I mean, we've been living together for like a month now. You've been talking about it plenty of times. There was a ton of guys even from your Little League team that still play pro ball today, right?
Exactly. Yes. So there's about 4 or 5 of us. 5 of us total. 4 others that we grew up playing from 9 up, and went to the same high school together. 2 of which made their big league debut 2 years ago now in 19, and then 2 others that stayed with baseball through high school. One went to college. One actually went into coaching. So there's a good group of baseball guys that I grew up with, and that we went to high school together. So that was good. And then there's also other guys in high school that were there's a pitcher in my class the class of 15 in high school who he was playing in Double-A last season that we had.
Years ago now.
Yeah, so we had some talent. It was fun. We never put it together and won the state title.
Yeah, that's too bad.
That's stuff that you look back on and it's like, man, how do we not do this? Something happened every year that I don't know. We couldn't put it together.
There was always a road bump. Yeah. I mean, like, I've said this before, like, as you kind of grow up and, like, go through baseball, like, you start meeting guys that end up still playing. Like, we met and played together in, like, 2017 for those quick 2 weeks.
Yep.
But, like, for me personally, like, growing up, like, I kind of remember playing against JoJo Gray. Mm-hmm. That's about it, though. Like, everyone from my Little League team, like, none of those guys even played college baseball. I was the only guy that moved on to that level. So, to have, 4, how many you say, 3 or 4?
3 of us in pro ball now. And
3 of you guys are in pro ball.
2 in the bigs, so it's
just nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Insane.
Yeah, we're waiting for that matchup to happen when those 2 show off. So
that'll be pretty special.
It's gonna be fun. It'll happen. We'll see. Yeah, but I don't know. It's crazy how it happens. You knew both of them were good. You we were all good, but
but no one
expects you to, even after you get drafted. No one really. You never know what could happen. So many people are there. Even when you go to college, I mean, even for me, for them, you go to college. Yeah, the goal is to get drafted. The goal is still to make it to the major leagues, but so many things can happen. So the fact that they did it, the fact that we did it, the fact that we made it here is
it's pretty shocking.
Yeah, it's something to go with. It's pretty cool.
Is there any kind of reason you think that so many pro ball guys came from that one small group, or is it just you guys just all happen to be the talented right guys in the place?
Talented right guys, yeah, but sorry. I told you this is tough.
Right, guys.
Talented group of guys, but I think we all loved baseball, and even from that age, we were good. We were doing things the right way. Most of us had baseball backgrounds where older brothers or parents were really into it. We probably at that age, at 10, 11, 12, we probably practiced more than anywhere in the country. My dad was kind of crazy with that. We
which is what you need.
We would have practice right after school at 4:00 for 2 hours every single day of the week. It was something else, but it worked.
It paid off.
We did all the little things right, I think, even from that age, and then once you do that, that's something that sticks with you. So a lot of those things were pretty easy for us, and then in high school, that stuff is huge, and I don't know, we playing together with that group, and then being able to do that was cool.
Dude, that's special. That's really special. So then, and for everyone that doesn't know, just went and played at Penn State. What was kind of the recruiting process like for that? Because Penn State's a pretty big school, and you said you're always kind of a fan of them, right?
So I started. I guess the recruiting process started really early after middle of freshman year of high school. I remember I threw a pretty good game in high school, and then I got some like an invite or something to a MLB draft. It wasn't for the draft as a freshman, obviously, but it was just a invite that they bring players together at high school, college, where there's
some talented guys.
Yeah, talented guys where there's college coaches, scouts, all that. So that was the first thing I remember, and then that was like local schools in New Jersey, basically. So it started then, and then a couple schools that year, a couple schools after my sophomore year, and then that was like when I really started to think about it. I was like, all right, where do I want to go? And I had no idea. Growing up, I was never a big fan of anyone. I played for the Evo Shield Canes.
So you were an Evo Shield Cane?
I was an Evo Shield Cane. So
I hated those guys.
We were.
You guys were so good.
I played a lot of tournaments down south. For me, I'm from New Jersey, so
the Georgia Perfect Game tournament.
It was a lot of the tournaments. I mean, Virginia was probably the northernmost tournament I would play in.
Yeah.
So a lot of the schools were down that way.
Did you play in that Richmond tournament?
I don't know.
I remember that from when I was like 17. Anyways.
I played in a lot of tournaments. So what they did, and I loved it. It was, I think this was really good. A lot of the tournaments that we played in were at colleges.
Yeah.
So it was like, it would be 2 or 3 colleges. So for example, one of the tournaments would have been at Virginia Tech and Radford, which is close by. So that was 2 tournaments in Virginia, and you would play, and it would be a lot of college coaches from that area, and a wide area would be there. So that was really fun to play in front of colleges like that, and at the colleges too, because you would always get games at the schools. And luckily, I threw a lot of games at the colleges. So even before I made it to college, I had already thrown in a handful of college stadiums, which was. I thought that was really fun.
It definitely helps, like with the development process of like being in that setting, in this situation. So when you get to that freshman year, it feels way more comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I told you about I threw a game in college at University of South Carolina when they were ranked.
Oh, that's
that was
right.
my second college game. We'll get to that, but I had already thrown at University of South Carolina in high school, like playing a tournament there.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But yeah, so I started this sophomore year, I guess. I would play in these tournaments. So I picked up talking there, a lot of schools, and from there, I had some schools that were, obviously, they want you to commit early, and I didn't really know what I wanted yet, so I waited.
Were you getting offers already, like going into junior year?
Yeah,
Damn,
sophomore summer was my first couple offers.
Sure, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I didn't know.
You didn't know what to do with
I didn't know what. I didn't know
yeah.
if I should say yes. I didn't know if that was what I wanted. I had seen the schools, but I didn't know if that was for me.
You felt like you needed more information.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I felt like there was more schools that. I just felt like hadn't been around doing it, like seeing schools a long time, and I saw a couple, but I don't know. It just didn't feel right. So I waited, and then couple more schools came. I thought I was going to end up going to one of these schools down south that I was playing at. I liked some of them, but it just didn't. I don't know. It didn't work. It wasn't working, I guess. But and then that junior summer, I was getting
going into senior year.
Yeah, going into senior year, I was getting a lot of interest. And Penn State came out to see me a couple times. They saw what they liked after the big Georgia tournament and all that.
They liked what they saw and they just gave you a call?
Right, yeah. And then I went up and I visited like in August or something like that.
And you were like, hell yes.
And I was like, yeah, I had never been. I lived a little over 3 hours away, and I'd never been. My parents were like, yeah, you'll like it. They were there before. It was close, and I went, and they got me there in the summer, so it wasn't cold. They
didn't know about that part.
I didn't know how cold it got.
They don't invite you in January, they invite you in August.
Nope.
It's a smart move by them.
Yeah, so it was nice and warm.
Yeah.
The football stadium was, it's the first thing you see when you drive up, and
dude, it's massive.
Huge. So it was good. I liked it, and then I think maybe less than a month later, I called him. I told him I was in, and that was it. So
and then you just rolled in.
I ended up there, and it was good. I thought it was the right decision. Spent 3 years there, and I loved it. Loved all 3 years.
That's great.
Looking back, we didn't win
we
thought. Like I thought going in, we were going to, but it was fun. It was met good people. I love the coaches.
Yeah, made memories you're gonna live there. Last forever.
Yeah, and I no regrets about it. So.
I mean, you've talked about it plenty with me. And it sounds like you always enjoyed your time there.
Yeah.
I mean, even with all the baseball and the school stuff aside, like it was a fun time for sure.
For sure.
But yeah, no, you get handed the ball right away, pretty much going into college, right? Which is something, which is a really rare thing for a freshman, to be told, hey, you're going to start first right away.
Yeah, that was part of it. That was part of I knew I liked the idea of a bigger school. Obviously. I know it's not for everybody. I like the idea of a Power 5, and I don't lack any confidence. I don't like to think of myself as cocky, but I don't lack confidence. So I knew that if I got my chance, I could make something happen. I just needed to find a place that I could get that chance, and I thought that would happen at Penn State, and ultimately it did. I went in.
You went in and you found success almost immediately.
I went in, and
one of the criticisms was they don't know if you could hold runners on because you can't get on base.
So I had a good fall. I had a really good fall. I maybe let up one run, and I was starting, and I didn't let no runs, and then I'm trying to think. Didn't let up any runs. Not many base runners. I threw a good amount of innings.
You just dominated. You went out there. You did really well. And
because I could always pitch. I was so not throwing as hard as some of the other guys. It was still to this day. It's something I can do. So that was something I could do then, and it helped me. I don't know. I just went out and competed. Like I said, I did not lack confidence about getting those guys out.
Yeah.
And it worked. And then we actually that fall we went to Cuba. I told you about our trip to Cuba.
Yeah, you told me about Cuba.
So that was a really fun experience. It was, nobody ever has been to Cuba before, so
Yeah,
that was fun.
like
And I ended up starting a game there, because I didn't know, even though I had this good fall, I didn't know that I was going to be in the weekend rotation.
Yeah, immediately
going in, because we had two weekend guys that were back, and then another kid that was a good reliever moving into the starter role. So there was a couple guys there. But I got to start one of the games down there in Cuba. I threw well. I got a win down there against like they were the Cuban National League teams.
Yeah.
So that was fun. That was something I always remember. But yeah, that was good for that year, for that fall. And then obviously and I don't know if this is the way you do it, but we started inside. Well, you obviously didn't down here.
Down here in Florida, baby.
Our season started February 13, 14, somewhere around there.
Sure, somewhere around there. Damn, you guys start that late?
Yeah.
We would start my first game my freshman year was January 29th.
Nope.
It was awesome. It was 72 degrees out. It was sunny. It was nice.
Too cold. Too cold. It's the February, so you start about a month before that. You start inter squads.
Yeah.
And for us, the inter squads are inside in the big football
bubble,
bubble that they have. Yeah. So it's
it can only go so well. You can only get.
It's tough. You get your work in, and it's probably easier for pitchers actually.
Because with all the white backgrounds all around.
Right. Yeah. And you can still long toss in there, and it's just thrown off an artificial mound, which is the thing that isn't good. But yeah, we threw for a couple weeks there, and then it was the week before they said, yeah, you're going to start on Sundays, which was cool. It was nice. And opening weekend, Cary, North Carolina, like the USA Baseball Complex. I don't know. If there.
That's where the D2 World Series is.
Okay. Yeah.
Which was always our goal, but we were always under 500.
So you always had it in your mind.
We were like, Cary, North Carolina, that's where we're going to be.
Yeah,
and it's never happened. So
it was there. I remember all of my starts pretty well from college. I remember all the times I throw. I have a
you
weird,
seem like the
I have
kind
a
of
weird
guy
memory.
that can recall all that stuff. For me, college is big chunks of blurs.
Yeah, we were going back, and me, you, and Mark were talking about.
No, you and Mark.
Me and Mark.
You and Mark literally the other day.
Well, I was telling him
30 minutes talking about every player that you guys played against in Little League,
yeah.
And I was just sitting there like, I can't name anyone.
Yeah, I
barely
can
remember my
everyone.
teammates' names.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I remembered his teammates' names, my teammates' names. I remember kids I played against, and it's cool.
Yeah, that's.
You going a little off topic here. We'll go back to college, but
people don't care.
It's cool that I can remember from the little field playing against kids that are still playing now.
Which is again going back to what we said earlier.
Right.
It's surreal that you knew that many guys from that.
Yep. So playing with and against kids that are making their major league debuts when I was as young as 9, 10. Yeah. It's crazy to think about, and like I said, I remember all that stuff. So it's kind of weird, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
But so then Cary comes, and my first start is against Army.
They got some big boys on that team.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about them. I didn't know anything about college baseball at the time. First game, I watched very few college baseball games, like the SEC games and the College World Series.
Yeah, I went to an Army game when I was in high school just because they were like relatively close. My dad was like, "Yeah, it'll be fun," so we went up there. But all I remember is like all just being there and being like, "Yeah, these guys look like they're literally going into war because it's Army and they're fucking massive."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember the size of them, but I remember the game.
That's what I
And
remember.
it's I went out. I didn't, like I said, I didn't know what to expect. I was just treating it like a high school game because those are the games that I started. In the scrimmages and stuff, you're limited to innings and all that. So I think I told you before. I go out and I throw 7 innings, like shutout, no like. 2-3 hits, something like that. Mm-hmm. And everybody comes in and they're giving me high fives and congratulations. I'm like, what? Like it's.
This is what I'm supposed to do. This is my job.
Yeah, I just assumed that was normal. Like I said, I'm not trying to sound cocky, but I'm pretty confident. And I was like, I knew I could do that. Like it's nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
I found out through my next 3 years that was a pretty good start.
Yeah.
And I wish they could have all went like that. They didn't, but yeah, you learn. And, that was cool. It was just, I'll always remember my first start. I got the win. We got the win. Had a good weekend, and and then the second one, which is still one of the cooler ones, was that South Carolina game, or facing a ranked team.
Yeah, big national ranked team.
In your
second, there's going to be a little bit of national eyes on it.
Right, yeah. People could watch it on TV and stuff, so that was cool. That went well for me. We didn't end up winning, but it was good. I just look back at games like that, and
dude, I'm sure there's a couple like big leaguers that were on that South Carolina team.
Yeah, there's still.
Thinking off the top of my head, I know Jordan Montgomery was probably there, and Clark Schmidt.
He wasn't there. So Clark Schmidt pitched against us. He threw. He didn't. I didn't go head to head with him, but he pitched against us. He was throwing really hard.
Yep. He was very good.
And he was coming right off of injury, so it was. It was. Yeah.
I played against him in 19, and it was just like, dude's really good.
No, but I remember a bunch of kids on that team. A lot of kids played pro ball. Some aren't in it anymore.
Mm-hmm. It's you were playing against packed some top level talents in college, which is I'm sure really cool to look back on.
Yeah, I think some of the stadiums we played at too, like that was cool.
Yeah. What was probably the coolest place you played at?
That game was probably my favorite.
It's probably
game
up there, right? I'm sure how many people were there?
It was about 7,000, I think.
For a college game?
Sunday college game, yeah.
That's really
maybe a little less, but yeah.
Damn, I think
it was like sunny and 75 in the middle of February. It was awesome. Maybe 70, but it was awesome. It was cool. And then so one of my best friends was a bullpen catcher there too, so got to see him, and it was it was cool. It was a good time. I liked it. That we played at TCU. That was cool.
I'm sure they always put out like a sick video in the beginning of every year. I used to think it was so cool. Looking back, I'm like, screw those guys. Put way too much money into it.
Terrible. I think I remember I put one of those on my Facebook wall when I was in like 5th grade, and I was like, this would be so cool.
Yeah, because they looked like they had like a big league locker room.
And then we did that, and I was like, this sucks. Going outside at 5 a.m. when it's freezing, like, because that was one of their videos, and I was like, this sucks.
Really, that's not a good time.
Yeah, I want to sleep now, but I guess a lot of schools do that. So a lot of schools do that 5 a.m. grind. So
I mean, going to a big D1 though, that's really cool that you get to play against other big D1s and see their facilities and everything. Coming from a D2 school, we did not do that too much. It was changed.
What was the coolest place you played?
Probably Tampa.
Tampa?
Because if you've ever been or driven by it, like they have this really cool. It's like a bird cage. Like the whole thing is netted around, and then you have the backdrop of Tampa behind center field. But we really didn't play too many cool places. No one came to our games. It was tough.
Yeah, our stadium was actually. I love
your stadium because I played there in pro ball because they're the
State College Spikes.
They're
R.I.P. Cardinals.
They're done now.
They were the Cardinals. Yep.
Yeah.
Now they're done. Yeah. When I walked on campus, I saw a couple games there and watched the minor league. Yeah, we saw Jordan Hicks there. We saw a couple players. Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's cool. Yeah.
Well, let's move kind of into your summer ball experiences. Where did you play? Summer of 16.
Didn't play.
You just didn't play.
So that freshman year, I started all the games my freshman year.
You probably had enough innings where your coach
I threw I think 84 innings that year.
Yeah.
As a freshman, so they were like, you're gonna stay home.
Hang out. Yeah.
You're not gonna do much. So I stayed home that summer.
That's probably a good call.
Hung out at home.
Yeah.
And then I think that summer was actually when my coach called me and was like, you're going to go to the Cape next summer. That was cool.
Dude.
So I knew pretty far in advance, but yeah.
The Cape is, like, growing up, I thought that was like this, like, we both achieved a lot of really cool stuff in our baseball career. Going to the Cape, or being even asked to go to the Cape is like, I thought that was such an astronomical, crazy thing to happen.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it when I actually got invited. What did you think when you got invited?
Yeah, no, I was thrilled. So I did it. So I didn't know much about summer baseball. I literally knew the Cape, and that was it. I knew the Cape. I heard of the Northwoods. I heard of a couple other leagues, but I was like, yeah, I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
So obviously the Cape is the goal.
Yeah.
And yeah, he told me that, and I was like, yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait. Just because playing, I mean, they made a movie about it for one.
Summer Cat?
Yeah,
Dude, we're watching that. We're watching that movie. I love that movie. Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jessica Biel. Oh yeah, great movie. Everyone. Go check it out.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you know. not exactly what happens.
No, not at all.
Cape,
especially when you're in Warren.
Yeah.
You pull up, you see the gravel infield. You're like, is this real?
Mm-hmm. And it is.
Yeah.
But it's special to be there with all the good players, and then you're just playing at these average. I mean, the fields are nice, actually.
Yeah.
They put a lot of time and money into them.
All right, fun fact real quick. In Summer Catch, they have, like, some big guy hitting bombs, and it's Kevin Youkilis. Like, he's just playing summer ball, like, when he was younger while they were filming the movie. They didn't film it in the Cape. They filmed
He was
it.
nasty.
Yeah, they filmed it in, like, South Carolina or something like that.
I don't know.
And he was just playing in the league, and they were like, hey, we're filming this movie. Can you hit a
He
home
did
run
play in
for
the
us?"
Cape, though, because he was
Yeah.
like a Cape All-Star, like...
Yeah. He's just Kevin Youkilis hitting bombs in the movie. Anyways, what were we saying?
Just about how you're playing in average
yeah.
fields, and it's with the best players in the country, which is it's crazy to think about, but you are. But it's
leading up to it, I was
the
like,
competition is awesome.
Yeah, dude. Leading up to it, I was like looking at like past rosters and being like, holy shit! Like the names just go on and on and on.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy.
I mean, so many people from there.
Yeah.
Have made it to the big leagues, really.
Majority of big leaguers, I feel like,
have
if they played college baseball, they played in the Cape.
And played summer ball, then
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yep.
But yeah, me and you met each other there. You made fun of me for how I shaved my arms.
Yep. Still would make fun of you for that if you still did it. Just so we're clear.
That was hilarious. That was so funny.
Yeah, I don't know what you were thinking.
I don't know either, but yeah.
I'm glad we moved off of that. And I don't know how you remembered that.
That was so weird that I remembered.
There's the first day we moved down here.
Was it the first day?
Yeah, it was like the first.
No, it wasn't.
First or second day. No later than that.
I guess. I don't know. I'll remember that you made fun of me for it, but I guess you'll remember when I brought it up. Anyways,
that's crazy. That's crazy. Because I didn't remember it. You said it, and I was like, yeah, that's weird. And then you said how you shaved your arms to about here, and I was like, yeah, that's weird. That was me. That's something I would do.
All right, we spent too much time talking about that. I brought it up though. But yeah, no, so you know, we're both in the Cape. I'm there on a temp contract. I'm basically there until someone else needs to come, and then I get kicked off the team. So I threw one inning, was cut, and I was like, all right, thanks, and I headed out.
Thanks, go.
Yeah, but so I wasn't there for the rest of the summer.
So I only stayed very shortly after that.
When I talked to Noah about it last week, I think I had one. Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, Justin just left.
He's gone." Yeah,
you didn't say bye. He was just like, "See ya."
Well, it was like I went and had a meeting with him like after the morning before a game or after one of the games. And I was and then that was it. I was gone, but it was. I threw a couple. I think I threw 2 or 3 games. I had thrown. Again, I started all the games. I had thrown over 80 innings in college, so I wasn't going to be there all summer anyway. I think one game I was out of the bullpen, and one game I started, and then I forget it was them or me. Like, didn't see myself starting many more games there, and I was a starter. So looking back, I probably could have stayed. Now that I'm everywhere in the bullpen and starting and everything, it probably could have helped me. But
trades at this point,
but I drove home, and that was it. And I was happy I was there, and I was happy to go home. It was good. It was a good experience. Threw a couple innings. It was good.
Out of our time there, who's probably like one of the guys? Who's probably the guy that you saw there was like, holy shit, like that is gonna be a big leaguer one day?
Played against or played with?
Either one.
To be honest, I don't know.
I think.
Do you have
it's
one?
down to. it's down to Mason Fioli and it's down to Brandon Lockridge.
Yeah.
Because Lockridge was a temp guy too, and he just like was playing with his hair on fire and was just killing the ball, and I was totally blown away with how talented he was the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. It was one of those things. I was kind of focused on what I was doing more than, which is probably not good.
I probably
take it all in a little bit.
I was a D2 guy, so I was more like, wow, like look at all these guys. They're so much better.
Yeah, it was fun. So one of my toughest at bats was actually I was pitching against a kid that I faced at Maryland. Okay. So like I had already faced him, and he every time he did the same thing, like 10 pitch at bats, and he did the same thing in the cave. So I was pissed at that. Yeah. But the best, I'm not sure. I feel like just the overall talent from the top of the lineup to the bottom was pretty good. Not many easy outs in there. And
not many holes in the lineup.
Yeah, no, and so in college you still have some holes in lineups. So that was a little bit different, but
sure. Yeah, so you head home and then you get ready for junior year, and this is kind of the year that's it's got to be the year.
Right.
This is going to be the year.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel? I already know the answer to this question because I know how you are. Were you feeling any pressure, or was it just like, whatever, got to just go throw a baseball?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I was lucky. I had a kid the year older than me who was going through it the year before.
He experienced it.
He got drafted in the 11th round, I want to say.
Wow. By who?
He got drafted by the Royals.
Okay.
He got traded like twice, and then got picked up by somebody. He's still playing.
All right.
But yeah,
anyways,
he
got to watch him kind of go
right.
through it.
Yeah, so he went through it, and he was as determined and dedicated and doing his own thing as anybody. Mm-hmm. So I saw that, and that was good. That was probably good for me. So that year I think it happened in our fall, like the scout day, pro day.
Yeah.
I started to throw a little bit harder. I think I hit 95 for like the first time ever, and I didn't even know I did at the time. But then scouts were like calling me and saying, "Yeah, you looked pretty good."
Yeah.
So then from there, the season came, and same thing. My velo was a little bit higher that year, and I had a okay year, not a great year.
You didn't have the year you wanted.
Right. I mean, it was good, and I knew that, and I knew I showed. There was games where I really threw well, and then there was games. All 3 years I had I had like one game where I just sucked, and I
mean, those are bound to happen.
They're bound to happen.
What is it, like 15 starts you roughly get in college for a season? I think that's what it was for me. It might be probably different for D1.
I forget, to be honest, but yeah.
15-ish starts. One bad start is not going to kill you, especially.
So I remember all of them, every single one, very well, and the same thing happened in all three of them. It's ground ball here goes through, ground ball here goes through,
and it just kind of
ground ball, and then it snowballs, and I still have them now to this day, but when you remember them in college. So I threw well, but my numbers weren't great. They were okay for reasons like that, but I think I threw well enough and I started to throw hard enough at that point for a starter. To where they were like, we'll take a chance on you, and then I went to a couple pre-draft workouts. Mm-hmm. I went to the one with the Dodgers. And
did you feel good coming out of that pre-draft?
Yeah,
you were like, all right,
I felt good. I felt like I threw just about as well as I could. Mm-hmm. So I was happy with it. I figured they liked me a little bit, and then draft day came, and they picked me in the 23rd round. I had no idea where I was going to go, where I was going to end up.
Yeah, you were just like, get me picked.
Yeah,
someone.
I could have went back to school. I think I had both options, and I would have enjoyed both. But it was the right time. It was the right place to be.
Yeah.
The Dodgers were. I knew a lot about them. That they were a good organization, and they treated their players well, and all that. So it was a good place to be, and I was happy, and just went with it.
Good, dude. That's good. And you get picked, which is like one of the coolest moments. For a baseball player's life. What was the day like for you? I think we've talked about it before, but like tell everyone what that day was like. Because I do remember it now. Now I'm thinking about it.
It was just like any other day. To be, I am super down to earth, super easy, like just mellow. So
Just
it was
fucking
just
tranquilo.
yeah. So just watching TV, and I think they called me and they were like, yeah, will you sign and all that, and I was like, yeah, I will. And the next thing I know, I'm scrolling through Twitter and I see my name and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like maybe it didn't hit me yet.
Were you like, just like, hey mom, I got drafted?
But my parents were at work and I was like, all right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're
Cool.
alone, right?
Yeah, and then I think my dad came home and I was like, yeah, it's the Dodgers. He's like, oh, like he was just thrilled and I was just like, yeah, cool. And then like I got a couple phone calls and like it was cool, and my buddy Tevin Smeltzer, which is one of the kids I grew up with from nine to whatever high school, and now was with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
He got drafted by the Dodgers actually.
Well,
And
yeah,
then got traded before I could ever like have a spring training with him. So he got traded, but he called me that day, and it was like the welcome, and that was cool.
Well, Smeltzer's the guy that had cancer as a kid, right?
Yeah, right.
And if you haven't seen this video, go look it up. It's Chase Utley meeting Smeltzer because when Smeltzer was a little kid, he had cancer, and Chase Utley did some public appearance where like he went and like tried to make his day.
Right.
And then they get to meet later on, which is really cool. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, it was. But then so I had a couple people calling me, and it was cool, and I was happy. Mm-hmm. At that point, I was just like, all right, let's go, let's get started.
Yeah.
It just that was just how I thought. I don't know. It was like, all right. I remember they're like my dad was like, yeah, at this point you're gonna bet on yourself to make it, and I was like, yeah, you're not wrong. So I just went, and we had that first, I don't know how you did it, but we went there for about 2 weeks and did like
we started doing that. We didn't do that originally. They flew us to Pittsburgh, signed us, and then shipped us off to whatever team we were going to play for. But we started doing that where we had everyone come to our spring training facility.
Went to Arizona for like 2 weeks, and then from there they started shipping us off to places. And I ended up in rookie ball in Ogden, Utah.
Yeah.
It was good. I love it out there. Had a good experience for the first year. A little bit of piggybacking, a little bit of relieving.
Whatever, just jack of all trades.
So that's where it started. I had never relieved before in my life, so it was new.
Were you slightly annoyed by it, or were you just like, whatever, just give me the ball?
I'm not annoyed. Just, I think we talked about it, it's up to me to get people out, so.
Our job's to get out.
Wherever that
Manager
is.
decides when that takes place.
Doesn't matter. So it was good. It was a good first year. I actually got called up to, I moved up and down a couple times that year from short season to low A. So I got a little experience up there.
Yeah, so you already had experience in Great Lakes.
Before I went there again that next year, a little bit. Yeah. And then the next year I was full year. 2019 was the first full year. I went to low A Great Lakes in Michigan. I had a good year. I did just about everything. I started a game. I closed. I long relief, piggyback. Everything, so I'm used to all that now. Wherever they want to throw you, they throw you.
Wherever you get in.
Had a good year through all year. Stayed healthy, knock on wood, but it was good. And then went into last year, and then everything happened, obviously. But
that was a whole mess, and here we are.
Now I came down here just basically because of that whole off year. I was like, I gotta get out, get ready and not be in New Jersey right now, and so then I came down here, and I love it down here. It's good. The training is good. Being able to throw outside,
it's so nice.
It's
being good. Outside and being able to train at Cressy, and it's such a great experience. But I kind of want to talk about like your first spring training with the Dodgers. Like you guys have such the big league team is so packed with big stars and big names and like such cool like personalities there. Was there anyone like you got to run into and talk to at all?
People would be there. I
know you're a quiet guy.
Again, I'm not going to go up to someone and
be like, "Hi,
well, this is awesome." But
Yeah.
It is cool. It is cool knowing, I grew up watching the Phillies and
Chase Eller's walking around.
Yeah, a couple Phillies are there. I remember back in 08 when Kershaw was pitching the postseason against the Phillies, so stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was, it comes back a little bit, but yeah. So Utley was with us in spring training. That was his last year with us, I think, that first full year, and then the next year he was like a coach kind of.
Yeah,
he gave us. He came into the minor league side and gave us a talk
That's
about
cool.
something, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I was like, that's
like
that's fun.
One of your childhood heroes.
Right. Yeah. And then you run into a couple people at least we did, in minor league camp that didn't have the big league camp invite that were just there in minor league. And watching the Phillies, like I said, there was about 4 or 5 players that I watched with the Phillies in the major leagues that were in our minor league camp, and I was like, wow, that's weird. Like that's crazy to think about. Like 4 or 5 years ago, I was in high school watching these guys in the bigs.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting across the table eating lunch with them.
Yeah, there was one guy. I can't remember his name right now, but like during my first, the full spring training I actually got to go to. God, I'm trying to remember his name. It's gonna come to me in like 10 minutes. But I completely forgot who he was and just was kind of talking to him, just being nice to him, and then realized I was like, oh my God, this guy used to be on the Red Sox. He used to throw a buzz and he used to dominate the Yankees. I would watch him all the time.
Yep.
It's kind of surreal, looking and being like, wow, we're in the same place right now.
And then same thing with some of the coaches that I don't know if you've played against coaches or with coaches. You've heard of before. Or...
There's one coach that I love, Scott Ellerton. I love him to death. I'll just be watching MLB Network randomly, and it'll show a highlight of Carlos Beltran from 10 years, 15 years ago, and he's just hitting a home run off Scott Ellerton. I notice things like that now, but that's the closest thing we got.
Yeah, a lot of people stick around in baseball, so you notice it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's cool though. It's some of the players that you run into. It's cool.
Yeah. So what? I think we're kind of wrapping up right now. What's some of your expectations, going into 2021? Because we're both chomping at the bit to get after and get going again.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Yeah. What's some of the expectations you got?
I think a lot depends on spring training and where I end up, where you end up, really.
Yeah.
So I don't really.
You don't think about that stuff too much?
I don't think about it too much. I don't think about where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
Or I just know wherever I'm going to be, I just want to be able to. I just want to be able to be there and pitch,
mound,
and like I said, trust in myself to be able to do what I can, and if I'm at full health, full ability, I'll take my chances. So that's how I see it. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
Like you said, all the people in front of me, all the people in front of you. I don't know. I don't really. That's
you don't
not
play
really.
GM too much.
Yeah, that's not really something that I think about.
Yeah,
I know people do.
I do it
know you do.
I hate that I do it, but it's fun.
But yeah, just have a good year and do what I can.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the chance that because you didn't play last year, you would have been kind of on track for AA. So that's possible, I think, for you. But high is also on the table too, which is now Great Lakes again.
Right.
Would it be kind of weird being in Great Lakes for a third year?
Third year.
They're gonna have to retire jersey at some point.
Super weird.
You're gonna have an innings record for a minor league team.
But I don't know. It's good. To me, it's all similar. You're in places for a little bit of time. You're not. You're away. It's all good. I like it all. Take it for what it is, and it's the minor leagues. You're having a good time. You're there to compete, and you're there to do your best. So it'll be weird, but I don't know. We'll see. It also depends. If they want me to start games, they want me to relieve. They don't. So that's one of the reasons wherever I end up is where I end up. I don't really take it for much more than that.
That's fair enough. So. All right, I'm going to cut this a little bit right here. I usually tell guys if they have a specific story they want to tell, make sure that they tell it. Is there any story that you really want to tell from any of your experiences through minor league baseball?
No.
No? Okay. All right, so I'll just jump into the last 2 questions that I ask everybody. I know the Dodgers just won the World Series, so this is going to be kind of a tough question for you to answer. When are the Dodgers winning the World Series again with you on the team?
Oh, with me on the team.
With you on the team.
You can't be surprised if they win it. If they win it this year, and
especially after, bringing Bauer on, and
they're doing everything they can to just win every year, and they're set up to. So obviously it's baseball, and that doesn't happen, but they're gonna compete every year, I think, for the foreseeable future, and whenever that happens and I'm there, whether it be 3 years, 5 years, I think that they're going to be there for that long. So
fair enough. I think that's definitely
it's cool. It's cool. The talent there now and the talent in the minor leagues is just it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
The way they draft, the way they sign, the way they develop, the way they put money into all that stuff.
They're a world-class organization.
It's the right way.
Very fortunate people.
Yep.
But anyways, last question I ask everybody when they come on: if you could go back in time, talk to 16-year-old Justin Hagenman, what's some of the advice you would give him as he moves forward in life?
I wouldn't do much different, to be honest.
It's less about what you would do differently. It's more about like, hey. It's kind of specifically you, Justin, as you were 16, but more like to a general 16-year-old playing baseball.
And I'm not good at this still, so take it all in for taking all those experience. Like I said, I've played in cool places. I played in PNC. I played in places like that. So take all that stuff in. I do a good job of just being in the moment, but I don't. I'm so locked into pitching that sometimes I'm not having the best time. I'm enjoying myself because I'm competing and I'm dominating and I'm doing well, but just take it all in. I miss playing with my best friend from high school all the time. Don't take that stuff for granted. That's fun. College, you're living with your best friends for 3 years, 4 years. That stuff is awesome. I think I told you at Penn State they have a 16-person house, so you're living with your whole team. You're living with your guys.
That's got to be ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's got to be a terrible thing, but it's amazing at the same time. But high school, college, it's take it all in. Enjoy your time. Enjoy yourself. Oh my God, you have to cut that out.
I'm leaving that. I think that's some good advice.
Yeah.
Thank you, dude, for coming on. I really appreciate it. Plug the Instagram and the Twitter real quick. People can go find you.
I think everything is JHags9.
JHags9. Go check him out. Thank you for coming on again, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It's a cool thing what you're doing here. So
thanks, man. Appreciate
it. Keep listening in.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys, for checking out another episode of the Minor League Take. That was Justin Hagenman. Please go give him a follow on all your social medias. I'm excited to see what he does this year because he's just been kicking butt in the weight room over at Cressy, and he's just been getting after it. So I'm excited to see what happens. Next week, we're going to have Mark Washington on. I'm going to make him get on here. He's my other roommate, and he's got a great personality. He is one hell of a story, too, so I'm excited for you guys to hear about that. As always, go give the page a follow at MILB Take and at the MILB Take on Twitter and Instagram. Give me a follow too, Brad_Queso. Go hit me with all that. I really love everything you guys say to me every week. Please keep it coming. Feel free to reach out, tell me a player you want to hear from. Tell me questions you want me to ask these guys, anything like that. And I would love to have a section on this show every week of fan questions. So I really encourage you guys to reach out and you ask, so we can get going on that. And let me know what you guys think of the minor league season and which team you're going to be rooting for the most this year, all right? I'm excited to get it rolling, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Minor League Take.